Commander Kraz stood before the massive viewing screen on the bridge of the Dominion's Fist, their most powerful warship. Their 4 eyes narrowed as they studied the blue-green planet below. New Haven, the humans called it. Such a simple name for what would soon become a battleground. Report, Kraz demanded, their scaled fingers tapping against the command console. Officer Mech hurried forward, tablet in hand. Commander, our scouts confirm the human settlement is exactly where we expected. Population approximately 5,000. But Mech hesitated, mandibles clicking nervously. Speak freely, officer. Sir, we've detected their beasts. The weapons they keep as companions. They're everywhere in the settlement. Kraz's upper lip curled into what passed for a smile among their species. This was exactly what they had prepared for. The infamous human beasts, the creatures that had made conquering Earth so costly for other alien races. But Kraz had come ready. Show me the containment chamber, Kraz ordered, and the view screen shifted to a dimly lit hole deep within the ship. Inside, something massive moved in the shadows. 20 feet of pure muscle, claws, and anger. The product of 30 years of genetic engineering, designed specifically to counter the humans' mysterious weapon beasts. Its scales gleamed like polished obsidian, and its 6 eyes glowed with an eerie red light. Beautiful, isn't it? Kraz turned to address the bridge crew. While other races fled from the humans' beasts, we studied them. We created something better, something stronger. The bridge crew chittered in appreciation, but Officer Mech still looked troubled. Sir, if I may, the scans of the human beasts are unusual. Explain. They're small, sir, much smaller than our records suggested. And their behavior patterns. Mech's voice trailed off as Kraz raised a hand for silence. Officer Mech, you're new to this command, so let me explain something. Kraz's voice took on a lecturing tone. Humans are masters of deception. Whatever you're seeing is clearly a trick. Their beasts are legendary. Entire armies have been routed by them. That's why we waited, why we prepared. Our beast will show them what true power is. Kraz turned back to the view screen, switching it to show the human settlement. The sun was just rising over New Haven, casting long shadows across the modest buildings and agricultural fields. Soon, those shadows would be joined by others, the shadows of dropships carrying Kraz's forces and their secret weapon. Begin the landing sequence, Kraz commanded. Deploy ground forces in a standard containment pattern. But do not, I repeat, do not, engage any human beasts without direct orders. We will showcase our superiority by defeating their greatest weapon with our own. The bridge erupted into activity as orders were relayed and troops moved to their dropships. Kraz watched with satisfaction as the first ships began their descent through the atmosphere. Sir, Mech spoke up one final time. What if we're wrong about their beasts? Kraz turned all 4 eyes on the junior officer. Wrong. I've studied every report, every fragment of intelligence we could gather. I know what we face. The humans think they're so clever, keeping the true nature of their beasts hidden. But today, we unveil our champion. Today, we show them what a real beast can do. The dropships continued their descent, their hulls glowing orange as they hit the atmosphere. In the containment chamber, the massive creature stirred, sensing the change in the ship's movement. Soon, very soon, it would face whatever creature the humans would bring to battle. Kraz touched a control panel, bringing up one final image, a blurry photo taken during a previous alien encounter with Earth. In it, a human stood beside something that was mostly hidden in shadow, but its eyes seemed to glow with an inner fire. Prepare yourself, human beasts, Kraz muttered. Your reputation ends today. As the first rays of New Haven's sun touched the dropship's hulls, none of the aliens noticed a small detail in their scans, the high concentration of what appeared to be toys and small bones scattered throughout the human settlement. After all, what kind of fearsome beast would play with such things? They were about to find out. Tom Wilson was having a perfectly normal morning until the alien ships appeared in the sky. He had just stepped out of his small house on the outskirts of New Haven for his morning walk with Max, his 4-month-old German Shepherd puppy, when he noticed the strange orange glow above the hills. "Would you look at that, Max?" Tom said, scratching behind the puppy's ears. "Seems like we've got company." Max wagged his tail and let out a happy woof, more interested in the tennis ball in Tom's pocket than the approaching ships. As the colony's head of security, Tom should have been rushing to sound the alarm, but years of training had taught him that panic never helped any situation. He reached for his communicator. "Control, this is Wilson. We've got visitors. Wake up the council and get everyone to their designated shelter areas. Calm and orderly, just like we practiced." The response came quickly. "Copy that, sir. What about you?" Tom looked down at Max, who was now sitting perfectly at attention, tongue lolling out in a puppy grin. "I'll keep an eye on our guests. Just make sure everyone stays safe." As the first drop ships landed in the farming fields outside the settlement, Tom could hear the colony's alert system starting up. A calm, gentle chime rather than a screaming siren. They had designed it that way on purpose. No need to terrify people when they needed to think clearly. "Come on, boy," Tom said to Max. "Let's go say hello." The puppy bounded alongside him, occasionally distracted by butterflies or interesting smells, but always returning to Tom's side. They had been working on training, and Max was proving to be incredibly smart, even if he was still very much a playful puppy. The first aliens emerged from their ships in what was clearly meant to be an intimidating display. Their armor gleamed in the morning sun, and their weapons looked like something out of a video game. Tom noticed they moved in careful formation, constantly scanning their surroundings as if expecting an attack. "Hello there," Tom called out, waving casually. "Welcome to New Haven. I'm Tom Wilson, head of colony security. This is Max." The alien soldiers froze. Their weapons snapped up, all pointing at Max. A voice boomed from one of the ships, translated into slightly mechanical English. "Human, you dare to confront us with your beast already? We expected more preparation time." Tom looked down at Max, who was sitting again, head tilted in curiosity at the new arrivals. The puppy's tail was wagging so hard his whole body wiggled. "My beast?" Tom tried not to laugh. "Max here is just a puppy. He's 4 months old." The alien voice came again, this time with a note of confusion. "Do not attempt your deceptions. We know of the fearsome human beasts. We have prepared for this confrontation." As if to prove Tom's point, Max flopped onto his back, showing his belly to the aliens in a universal puppy request for belly rubs. Several alien soldiers took a step back. "Look," Tom said, keeping his voice friendly. "I think there's been a misunderstanding. Max isn't a weapon. He's a pet, a companion. Right now, he probably just wants to play with you." The alien soldiers looked at each other in confusion. Their weapons lowered slightly. Then a new sound came from one of the larger ships, a deep rumbling growl that made the ground shake. Max immediately rolled back to his feet, ears perked up in interest. "Behold, human," the voice announced triumphantly. "If you will not admit the true nature of your beast, then we shall show you ours." The side of the ship began to open, revealing a massive dark shape within. Tom's eyes widened as he saw glowing red eyes in the darkness. 6 of them. "Oh boy," he muttered, then looked down at Max, who was wagging his tail even harder now, clearly thinking he was about to meet a new friend. "Maybe we should have brought more tennis balls." As the massive creature emerged from the ship, Tom had a feeling this was going to be either the worst or the most interesting first contact in human history. Knowing Max, probably both. Commander Kraz watched through the ship's cameras as their ultimate weapon emerged into the morning light. The beast's black scales absorbed the sunlight, making it look like a piece of moving darkness. Its massive claws left deep marks in the soil as it stepped forward, and its 6 red eyes scanned the surroundings with deadly purpose. "Now, human," Kraz's voice boomed through the speakers, "you will see what a true beast of war looks like." Tom Wilson stood his ground, though his hand instinctively moved to rest on Max's head. The puppy, however, had other ideas. Before Tom could grab his collar, Max bounded forward with a happy yip, tail wagging like a furry flag in the wind. "Max, wait," Tom called out, but it was too late. The puppy was already halfway to the alien beast, moving with that unique mix of gallop and bounce that only excited puppies can manage. The alien soldiers watched in horror. Surely this was some kind of trick. No sane creature would approach their engineered monster with such happiness. The massive beast lowered its head, bringing its 6 eyes level with the approaching puppy. Its mouth opened, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth designed to tear through armor. A deep growl rumbled in its throat, making small pebbles vibrate on the ground. Max sat down right in front of it and tilted his head, ears perked forward in curiosity. "What is this madness?" Kraz demanded, their voice crackling through the speakers. "Why doesn't your beast attack? Where are its battle modes?" Tom couldn't help himself. He laughed. "Battle modes? He's a puppy. The only modes he has are play, sleep, eat, and please give me belly rubs." As if to demonstrate, Max flopped onto his back, right in front of the massive alien creature, paws waving in the air invitingly. The engineered beast drew back slightly, all 6 eyes blinking in confusion. This wasn't in its programming. "This is clearly some sort of advanced psychological warfare," Kraz announced. "Beast. Attack pattern Delta." The massive creature raised itself to its full height, muscles tensing for what should have been a devastating attack. But then Max rolled back over and did something that no amount of genetic engineering could have prepared it for. He played bowed. Front down, rear up, tail wagging, with a playful woof. The alien beast froze. Its programming included responses to thousands of combat situations, but nothing about how to handle an invitation to play. It looked back at the ship, then at the puppy, then at the ship again. "What are you waiting for?" Kraz demanded. "Attack." The beast lowered its head again, but instead of attacking, it seemed to be sniffing Max. The puppy took this as encouragement and playfully jumped sideways, then forward, then back, showing off his best "come play with me" dance. Tom watched in amazement as confusion spread through the alien ranks. Their fearsome weapon, designed for death and destruction, was totally stymied by basic puppy behavior. "You know," Tom called out to the ship, "Max has a bunch of tennis balls back at the house. I'm sure he'd be happy to share." "Tennis balls?" Kraz's voice sounded completely baffled. "Yeah, they're his favorite toys. Well, those and his squeaky rabbit, but he's a bit protective of that one." The alien beast had sat down now, all 6 eyes focused on Max's continued playdance. A low rumble came from its throat, but it didn't sound like a growl anymore. If Tom didn't know better, he'd say it sounded curious. "This is impossible," Kraz declared. "Our beast was engineered for combat. It doesn't play with, what did you call it? A puppy." "Well," Tom said, smiling as Max successfully got the huge creature to follow him in a small circle, "maybe that's your problem right there. You engineered it for combat, but did you engineer it to be happy?" The silence from the ship's speakers was deafening. In the field, Max had located a stick and was proudly showing it to his new friend. The alien beast, carefully, oh so carefully, lowered its massive head to sniff it. Things were about to get interesting. Inside the Dominion's fist, Commander Kraz was having what humans might call an existential crisis. 30 years of research, countless resources spent on genetic engineering, all their careful planning. And their ultimate weapon was currently learning how to fetch. "Sir," Officer Mech reported, mandibles twitching nervously, "the beast's combat protocols are still active, but it seems to be ignoring them." On the view screen, Their massive engineered creature was carefully picking up a stick in jaws designed to crush battle tanks. The tiny human puppy was bouncing around its feet, tail wagging with pure joy. "This is impossible," Kraz muttered. "Show me the beast's vital signs." The data appeared on a side screen. What they saw made no sense. The combat hormones were still present, but they were being overwhelmed by other chemicals, ones their engineers had considered unimportant during the creation process. Down on the ground, Tom Wilson watched with growing amusement as Max taught the alien monster the basics of fetch. The huge creature was surprisingly gentle as it picked up and dropped the stick, clearly trying to copy Max's playful behavior. "You know," Tom called out to the ship, "most people forget that dogs, that's what Max is, by the way, weren't originally pets. They were wolves once, wild animals. We didn't turn them into companions through force or engineering. We did it through friendship." The alien soldiers had lowered their weapons completely now, many of them crowding forward to watch the unexpected scene. Some even made quiet chirping sounds when Max did something particularly cute, though they quickly tried to hide it. But they were weapons once. Kraz's voice held a note of desperate hope. "Your dogs were warriors." Tom shook his head. "Not weapons. Partners. There's a big difference. We didn't force them to fight for us. We became friends, and then they chose to stand with us. Max here would probably try to protect me if he had to, but that's not why he's here. He's here because we make each other happy." As if to prove his point, Max had given up on the stick and was now showing the alien beast his favorite game, chase. He would run in a circle, then playfully bark at the massive creature, inviting it to follow. The beast, moving with surprising grace for something its size, had started to play along. Each time Max barked, the alien beast would respond with a rumble that was getting less threatening and more playful by the minute. It was learning, adapting not through programming, but through simple joy. "Sir," Officer Mech reported, "the beast's neural patterns are changing. The combat protocols are being overwritten by new behaviors. It's learning." Kraz watched in silence as their weapon of war played what was clearly an enthusiastic, if slightly clumsy, game of chase with a puppy. The beast that had been engineered for destruction was learning to be gentle. Its massive claws carefully avoided the ground near Max, and its tail, designed for balance during combat, had started to move in what looked suspiciously like a wag. "Your beast," Kraz said finally. "It is not angry. It is not fighting. Why?" Tom smiled, watching as Max finally tired himself out and flopped down next to his new friend. The alien beast, after a moment's consideration, carefully laid down too, curling its massive body protectively around the puppy. "Because happiness is stronger than anger," Tom explained. "You engineered your beast to fight, but you never gave it a chance to play. Max isn't teaching it to be weak. He's teaching it there's more to life than fighting. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is be gentle." A soft sound came from the alien beast, not a growl, but something more like a purr. Max had fallen asleep against its scales, and the massive creature was keeping watch, all six eyes soft as it looked at its tiny new friend. The age-old saying was proving true once again. There are no bad dogs, only dogs who haven't been shown love yet. Apparently, the same applied to engineered alien war beasts. Commander Kraz had finally left their ship. After watching their ultimate weapon become a playmate for a puppy, they decided some personal observation was needed. Now they stood in the field, all four eyes fixed on the scene before them. The great beast, their mighty weapon, was letting Max climb over its tail. Each time the puppy reached the top, he would slide down the smooth scales like they were a playground slide. The massive creature had figured out how to angle its tail just right to make the game more fun. "I don't understand," Kraz said to Tom. "We designed it to be perfect. Aggressive. Unstoppable." Tom watched as Max took another slide, letting out happy little barks. "Perfect for what, though? Perfect for fighting, maybe. But is that all you wanted it to be?" Before Kraz could answer, A low warning growl came from the alien beast. Not at Max. The puppy was still happily playing. But at something in the distance. Tom turned to look, and his heart skipped a beat. At the edge of the forest that bordered the settlement, a massive shape moved in the shadows. New Haven's one real danger, a forest stalker. The local predators usually avoided the settlement, but all the activity must have drawn this one's curiosity. "Everyone stay calm," Tom said quietly, reaching for his stunner. But before he could do anything, Max noticed the threat. The puppy's playful demeanor changed instantly. He moved in front of Tom, making himself look as big as possible, which, for a 4-month-old puppy, wasn't very big at all. His bark changed from playful to warning, high-pitched but brave. The alien beast's reaction surprised everyone. It looked down at Max, then at the forest stalker, then back at Max. In its genetically engineered brain, something new clicked into place. This tiny creature, who had shown it kindness and taught it to play, was trying to protect others despite being so small. The beast moved forward, carefully stepping over Max and Tom. But it didn't charge or attack. Instead, it stood guard, using its massive body as a shield for both its new friend and the aliens who had created it. The message to the forest stalker was clear. This territory was protected. "Remarkable," Kraz whispered. "It's not attacking. It's defending." "That's what friends do," Tom explained. "They look out for each other. Not because they're programmed to, but because they want to." The forest stalker considered its options, then slowly backed away. It had no interest in challenging something that big, especially when it showed such clear protective intent. Once the danger had passed, Max trotted over to the alien beast and gave its leg a grateful lick. The huge creature lowered its head, gently nuzzling the puppy with a snout that could have crushed steel. "Sir," Officer Mech approached Kraz, holding a datapad. "The beast's neural scans. They're unprecedented. It's developing new neural pathways, emotional connections. It's becoming something more than what we engineered it to be." Kraz watched as their weapon of war, their perfect killing machine, went back to playing with a puppy. But now there was something new in its behavior. A protective instinct not born from programming, but from genuine connection. "Perhaps," Kraz said slowly, "we were asking the wrong questions all along. We asked how to make the perfect weapon. We should have asked how to make the perfect companion." Tom smiled. "You know, Max came from a rescue shelter. Nobody wanted him because he was the runt of the litter. But look at him now, teaching an alien war beast how to love. Sometimes the greatest strength comes from the most unexpected places." The alien beast had laid down again, creating a protective circle around Max, who was already inviting it to play another game. Its 6 eyes, once burning with engineered rage, now showed something entirely new: contentment. "Your puppy," Kraz said, "has done more than defeat our weapon. He has shown us a better way to be strong." In the distance, the sun began to set on New Haven, painting the sky in beautiful colors. The light reflected off the alien beast's scales, but instead of looking menacing, it now looked almost peaceful. A reminder that sometimes the fiercest hearts can be gentled by the simplest acts of kindness. As evening approached New Haven, Commander Kraz had made an unusual decision. They invited Tom and Max aboard the Dominion's Fist. The alien beast, now nicknamed Guardian by the colony's children, followed them into the ship's main hall, ducking its massive head to fit through the doorways. "Our scientists will not believe this," Kraz said, watching as Max explored the ship's corridors with endless curiosity, Guardian following protectively behind him. 30 years of trying to create the perfect warrior. And your small friend changed everything in a single day." Tom smiled as Max discovered his own reflection in the ship's polished walls, pawing playfully at it while Guardian watched with what could only be described as amusement. Sometimes the best changes happen by accident. Nobody planned for wolves to become dogs thousands of years ago. It just happened because both sides were willing to trust each other. The ship's crew had gathered to watch, fascination clear in their expressions. Many had removed their armor, realizing there would be no battle today. Some even held out their hands as Max passed, letting him sniff them in his friendly way. "But there is something I don't understand," Kraz said, leading them to the ship's research lab. "Our data suggested human beasts were fearsome weapons. We saw records of them in your military, your police forces. How can they be both warriors and this?" They gestured at Max, who was now showing Guardian how to beg for treats. Tom thought for a moment. "Let me show you something." He pulled out his tablet and brought up some images. "These are police dogs, military dogs, rescue dogs. They're trained to help us, yes. Some can even fight if they have to. But look closer." The images showed dogs with their handlers, playing fetch after work, curled up together during breaks, sharing quiet moments of companionship. "The same dog that might chase down a criminal will also play with children at home," Tom explained. "The dog that helps soldiers in combat will also comfort them when they're stressed. They're not weapons we control. They're friends who choose to help us." Guardian had settled down in a corner, and Max immediately curled up against its massive side, yawning. The alien beast carefully adjusted its position to make the puppy more comfortable. "Your Guardian here," Tom continued. "It's still as strong as when you made it, but now it chooses to be gentle. That's not weakness. That's real strength. The kind that comes from the heart, not from a lab." Kraz's scientists were frantically taking notes, their instruments recording everything about the unexpected bond between the puppy and their engineered creature. But Kraz wasn't watching their instruments. Instead, they watched as Guardian, their perfect weapon, their ultimate beast, tenderly nuzzled the sleeping puppy. "We thought," Kraz said quietly, "that the perfect beast would be the one that could destroy anything. We never considered that true perfection might lie in knowing when not to destroy." As if to emphasize the point, Max let out a tiny snore, making several alien crew members jump in surprise. Guardian responded by curling its tail more protectively around the puppy. "You know," Tom said, "Max's shelter has lots of other puppies looking for homes, and it seems to me like Guardian here might enjoy having some more friends to play with." Kraz's eyes widened at the suggestion. "You would trust us with more of your puppies after we came here to invade?" Tom shrugged. "Max trusted Guardian, didn't he? Sometimes you have to give trust to get it back. Besides," he grinned, "can you honestly tell me you still want to invade after today?" Looking at their fearsome beast now serving as a puppy's pillow, Kraz had to admit that invasion was the last thing on their mind. Instead, they found themselves wondering if the ship's engineering bay could be converted into a proper play area for dogs. In the corner, Guardian had dozed off too, its massive head resting gently near Max. Its 6 eyes had closed in peaceful sleep, proving that even the fiercest beast could find peace through friendship. 1 month after the day of the invasion, New Haven had changed in ways nobody could have predicted. The colony's dog park now included a special section with reinforced play equipment designed for Guardian and its new friends. 3 more engineered beasts that Commander Kraz had brought from their homeworld. Tom sat on a bench, watching as Max led his little pack in a game of chase. The sight of 4 massive alien creatures, each capable of destroying tanks, carefully playing with a group of puppies still made him smile every time. "They're getting better at fetch," Kraz said, settling onto the reinforced bench beside Tom. The alien commander had become a regular visitor to the park, fascinated by the ongoing transformation of their weapons into companions. "Well, they had a good teacher," Tom replied as Max demonstrated his best ball-catching technique to his larger friends. "Though we might need to order stronger tennis balls. These ones aren't lasting very long." In the center of the park, Guardian picked up a large blue ball specially designed by the alien engineers. Instead of crushing it, the beast gently rolled it toward a group of colony children who had gathered to play. The kids cheered and rolled it back, starting a game that had become their daily routine. "Our science council is still arguing about what to call this," Kraz said, watching the game. The way the beasts have developed emotional intelligence far beyond their programming. The new neural pathways. The capacity for gentle play despite their strength. And what do you think it should be called? Kraz's upper lip curled in what Tom now recognized as a smile. I think we should call it friendship. Simple as that. A small commotion drew their attention. One of the newer beasts had become tangled in a climbing frame. Looking embarrassed, Max immediately trotted over, barking encouragement until his large friend figured out how to carefully extract itself without damaging the equipment. You know, Tom said, when I took Max from the shelter, they told me he was too small, too friendly to be a proper guard dog. Said he'd never be able to protect anything. He gestured at the scene before them, where Max was now teaching the freed beast a new game. Turns out there's more than one way to make the world safer. By making friends instead of weapons, Kraz nodded. Our military council is still processing that idea, but they can't argue with the results. No colony has ever been safer than New Haven is now. It was true. No forest stalker dared come near the settlement anymore, not with 4 protective alien beasts on patrol. But more than that, the colony had gained something unexpected. A bridge between 2 species who might otherwise have remained enemies. The new puppy training center is almost ready, Tom mentioned. Are you sure your people want to do this? Our engineers have already submitted their applications to become dog trainers, Kraz confirmed. They say if they're going to design living creatures, they should learn to do it right this time, with love instead of aggression. As the sun began to set, Max led his pack of giant friends back toward the benches. Each beast moved with a grace that seemed impossible for their size, carefully avoiding stepping on anything delicate. They had learned that being strong didn't mean they had to be destructive. You know what the funny thing is? Tom said as Max jumped into his lap, tired but happy. Your people came here looking for humanity's greatest weapon. And in a way, you found it. Kraz tilted their head questioningly. Friendship, Tom explained, scratching Max behind the ears. The ability to turn enemies into family. To choose love over fear. That's always been our real strength. Guardian settled down nearby, its 6 eyes glowing softly in the evening light. The other beasts arranged themselves in a protective circle, each one choosing to be a guardian rather than a weapon. Max looked at his giant friends with clear pride. The day's last light caught the official plaque recently installed at the park's entrance. It read, New Haven Interspecies Friendship Park, where the fiercest hearts learn to be gentle. Below it, someone had added in smaller letters, All good dogs welcome, no matter how many eyes they have. Max barked his approval. After all, he had a lot more friends to train.